Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining our franchising webinar tonight. My name's Andrew Walker. I'm the Chief of Franchise Development here at Poolwerx for Australia and New Zealand. I've spent 15 years with the brand Poolwerx across a variety of roles within the business. I've been through operations, I've been in commercial development and currently in franchise development. Back in 2012, I was the Franchise Council of Australia National Field Manager of the Year winner, and I also own a Poolwerx franchise along with my son Lachlan and his wife Oriana. So they've had that franchise for 5 years now on the Gold Coast. They have 11 territories, 3 stores, and about 12 service vans on the road. So tonight we're going to be covering a few things that we hope you'll get a lot of information out of. So thank you very much for giving us the time tonight to be able to participate in this webinar. First off, we're going to look at how to pick a winning franchise. So there's a lot of information that you need to delve through in order to choose the franchise that best suits you for your business, for your lifestyle. Then we're going to hear about Poolwerx. You'll learn a little bit more about our brand and how we operate. Then we have a couple of current franchise partners that will be on the webinar who will be doing a Q&A. So we'll listen to them a little later on about their experiences in the brand and in the business and what brought them to Poolwerx. And then finally, we'll have a wrap up with the Poolwerx process. So our franchise development manager, Mike Geddes, will go through that process and give you a bit of an understanding of what the process is.
Hi everyone, my name is Nick and I'm CEO of Poolwerx across Australia and New Zealand. We understand that you're here today to make a really big decision, and my team and I are here to support you every step of the way. Here are a few key points to help you. We've been franchising for over 30 years, and we still continue to grow. There are not many brands that can lay claim to fame to that key point. We have a unique hub and spoke model that delivers multiple revenue streams across retail and commercial parts of the market. And we've recently won Franchiser of the Year for the 3rd time. Again, there are not many franchisors that can say the exact same fact. A key part of the process is doing due diligence. We encourage you to talk to our franchise partners and ask those little questions that you feel more comfortable talking with them about. We look forward to talking to you and helping you every step of the way. And my team and I are here to support you. Talk soon. Thank you.
So how to pick a winning franchise. So franchising in Australia has been flourishing since 1970. There's over 65,000 franchise units across Australia, and there are over 1,200 franchise brands. So how do you choose out of those 1,200 brands which is the right brand for you? We hope to cover a little bit of that information for you tonight. The other key point too is that 90% of Australian franchises are actually homegrown brands. So they're franchises that have started in Australia and they've grown and developed in Australia. And 60% of the franchisors across the franchising industry in Australia have been franchising for more than 10 years. It's really important when you're looking to choose which brand you're going to look at that they have aligned with your values. So the brand values that the particular franchise brand has need to align with your own personal values, because that's the best way for you to be able to be successful in business. So here at Poolwerx, we have 5 brand values: people first always, find a better way, do the right thing, dare to succeed, and energize. And these values were developed from our franchise network a number of years ago, and all of our franchise stakeholders within the business, our franchise partners, their staff, our support team, the management team, all had an input into these particular values. And then you've got to have a look at the franchise brand itself, and has it got form? So where does it position itself within the market? Where does it position itself in the industry? Has it been a brand that's been in operation for a long period of time? What sort of size is the brand? Has it had many awards over the years that it has been operating? Is it something that's unique, that isn't found on every corner, and has a particular unique selling feature that can actually add value to you in terms of your business? Some key questions you do need to ask yourself when you're choosing the brand is, what's your career path over 10 years? And does the particular business that you're looking to join match that career path over 10 years? So do you want to grow and develop a empire? Do you want to buy yourself a job? Whatever it may be, you need to ensure that whatever your career path over, say, 10 years marries up with the brand that you're looking to get into. And how do you compare to competitors? So have a look at the particular business and have a look at all the competition that's in the marketplace and see where they compare. Are they a market leader? Are they very well recognized and known as a brand? Do they use the latest technology? It's critical today in business to be successful that we have updated technology and we stay ahead of the game in terms of our technological advances and what we're able to bring to the business and to the table for the franchise partners. What's the marketing strategy of the brand? Are they a market leader? Where do they sit within the market? And does that marketing strategy align with what you'd like to see in your business? The support team's a really critical piece to franchising, and it's something that we can be very proud in Poolwerx to say that we have a very strong support structure in place. So we have some 58 people across Australia and New Zealand that are there to support our franchise partners and what they do across every facet of operating the business. What's the training and development like? So if you're going to go into business and you're going to be employing staff, is there training and development opportunities both for you and for your staff? So have a look at what sort of offerings the brand are giving out in terms of training and development. Most franchise brands, or many franchise brands, particularly the reputable ones, will do a franchise partner satisfaction score. And that's a survey, I guess, of the franchise partners within the network. And what the satisfaction is of those franchise partners. And it's always good to ask the franchisor of the brand you're looking at, do they have a franchise partner satisfaction score, and what is it? Where does it sit? And why do franchisees leave? So when you look to join a particular brand, you'll get a disclosure document. In that disclosure document, it'll outline what franchisees have left over the previous 12 months and why they've left. So you can get a good understanding of where the particular business sits in terms of why people are leaving the network. And then the final thing is you've got to look at yourself. So have you got the vision to be able to operate a business? It's not easy in today's world. You need to have a lot of experience in a lot of different areas. And in most instances, we don't generally have experience across every facet. And that's why people look at a franchise as a preferred method of entering into a business. Are you passionate about whatever you're going to be doing? There is no point going into a business if you don't have the passion for you, or you can't see yourself doing that particular role. Are you a people leader? You're going to be employing staff. You need to be a good communicator. So you'll need to be able to work with people and build a team. If you've got those sort of skills, then that really helps you get ahead. Business acumen is also very important. It's not critical in a franchise, but it is very important that you have an understanding of some business acumen so that you can help yourself grow and develop. Look at the training, the innovation, the technology, the marketing, the systems and the processes of the brand that you're actually looking to go into. So we have a training facility in Brisbane. It's a really advanced training facility. As you can see, it has a swimming pool there. And we have 2 pools set up, and they can be changed and amended and worked on all the time. You can walk underneath those pools and look at all the equipment and the flow of the water and the pipe work and get a really good understanding of what the pool is. So now we're going to hear from Steve Halls, and Steve is the Chief Operating Officer. He's had 25 years in the franchising industry, 11 years at the Poolwerx Support Centre. He's previously a multi-unit franchise owner for Gloria Jeans. He also is the Franchise Council of Australia National Field Manager of the Year winner. And in 2024, he was voted number 3 in the top 30 franchise executives for 2024. So, Steve, thanks very much for joining us tonight. It's really great that you can be a part of this, and we'd love to hear a little bit more about Poolwerx. You there, Steve? Looks like we might have lost Steve.
We've got no
I can see him. Might be on mute, Steve.
There we go. He's not
Gotcha,
coming.
Steve?
You there?
Yeah.
Yeah, got you now.
Sorry about that. Bit of technology issues. Just want to share a few fast facts about Poolwerx. As you can see on screen, and Andrew's mentioned before, but mostly 70% of franchise partners are multi-unit franchise owners. So, and that's not unusual for a business of our size and our age. We certainly see that transitional period where franchise partners look to have growth internally as well. Of course, award-winning brand with over 32 years track record, some incredible sales records that we continue to achieve every year, predominantly 22, 23, post the COVID process, but the business has always continued to have a 9 to 10% growth over all those years. Of course, we're the leading pool service brand in Australia, which we certainly hold very proud to our heart. And of course, there's multiple revenue streams within this business. And that's one of the attractions about the business is that it is a hub and spoke model, but also has different revenue streams, not only from a residential point of view, but also from a commercial point of view. As you can see on screen, we do have a very strong network. We have over 1,500 global employees through Australia, New Zealand, and across the US. As Andrew mentioned, 54, but now 58 support staff, which is really important as someone looking to come into a franchise network and what support mechanisms are in place to support you in your growth. 188 stores, retail stores globally across Australia, New Zealand, and the US, and 164 franchise partners who operate and manage 703 vehicles worldwide and 454 territories across the world. As mentioned, our success in our business has always been ongoing and something we're very proud of and we strive for. As you can see, we've been recognized for many areas within the industry, not only in the pool industry, but also the franchising industry. Franchisee of the Year 3 times from the FCA is certainly an incredible feat, one we're very proud of. It's not many franchise networks that have been able to achieve this type of success. We've had numerous multi-franchisees who have been FCA winners as well, Franchisor of the Year across New Zealand, and importantly, the Fran Data accreditation, which you see there is a 5-star ranking, which goes and measures all aspects of franchising and gives us a global accreditation of a 5-star ranking, which is certainly something that is not easy to achieve. The structure, probably the most important thing you're wondering about. So what is the structure and the support we do get from the Poolwerx business? As you can see, everyone has access to all of these areas. And should your journey continue down the road of looking at Poolwerx, you'll get to meet all these areas and these departments as the due diligence keeps continuing. From operations point of view, you have business development managers, or what we call regional operations managers. They work with you side by side in your business, in state, in region, in country, and working on your growth of your business, of what you're trying to achieve in line with the Poolwerx system. The franchise development team, you've met some of them tonight and you've spoken to them just to get to this point. People, performance and culture, that's our learning and development process, our HR process, all the ongoing training that we do within the business, not only internally at PSC, our Poolwerx Support Centre, but also out in regions and out in various Poolwerx businesses. We have an internal legal team, internal finance team, evolution team, and that's the innovation part, and also the IT systems that we have been adapting and implementing into the business over the last couple of years, and that's evolving weekly, daily, and yearly with some incredible roadmaps to take that support structure even further. And of course, our marketing, critical to any business. We have an exceptional marketing team led by Nicola and her team, where we do not only national marketing, but also cascade that down into a regional marketing campaigns, local area marketing campaigns, and of course, the public relations in our business. Our growth. Just want to share a quick growth table here to show you that based on the group sales of the business versus territories. So the group sales is the blue line, and then our territories is the red line. As you can see that from the years gone by, there's two areas of where there's been exceptional change or movement in the business from a growth point of view. One was back in 2007, 2009 with the GFC, and of course 2020, 2021 with COVID. Two of the exceptional areas where predominantly most businesses saw impact or decline in their business. We were the opposite way. We are such a resilient business where we saw massive growth, and that growth continued to expand year on year on year. So certainly we've been in a position where the hub and spoke model, the service model, and the retail model has certainly been one of our strong growth components. And what does that growth look like, and how do you get it? Two columns here, you'll see on the left the traditional growth and of course the accelerated growth. The traditional growth is where you start with one person in a van or a mobile territory as we call it, and then you progress over the years to multiple vans, down into a retail store, multiple vans, multiple retail stores, etc. But obviously if you're looking for that more accelerated growth is where you come into the business and you buy multiple territories, where you may start with 3 vans, a retail, etc., in a very accelerated process, aligned and obligate to a retail store within that process, and then secondary retail stores, mobile vans, etc. So there's every opportunity you can come into the business in the traditional, what we call the traditional process, or you can come in with a more accelerated growth process, depending on where you're at in your life. And what we do. So you're asking, well, what is the clients that we look after? So we base it on residential and what we call commercial, or some may know it as business to business. So there's the do it for me process. So these are the clients that we go out and we give a full service poolside to these regular clients on a monthly basis, look after all aspects of the pool, regardless of what the client does or doesn't wish to do. We're there to do it for them. We have the DIY or the do-it-yourself part, where there's those people like myself and probably some of you, where you still like to play around with the pool, keep it clean, sit back, enjoy, have a beer, and really appreciate what you've achieved and how clean your pool looks. But that obviously is the footprint that drives also our retail stores. And then there's a combination of home service, DIY, new installs, etc. So that's the residential side. And then into the commercial side, we have a bigger, large concept of pool. So we will look after bodies of water that up to 4, 5, 6 million litre pools that require things like public bathing and all those aspects. So there's different revenue streams that you can certainly become involved in. And I'm hearing you say, well, is a business seasonal? I'm sure you've heard this, that, what happens when it's a bit quieter and the winter months come in and all those things. The great thing about our business is we have set the business up to be able to work through all those areas. Whilst it does get a little quieter, because obviously the residential pools and people aren't swimming as much through the quieter or the colder months, we've certainly built the business so that you're able to then go out into the commercial aspect of the business, also working through how you get more retail, more service clients and all those aspects, and the training that we develop over those quieter months that gives us multiple revenue streams and upgrades the business focus. It also allows for you to be able to really focus on how you upgrade equipment, servicing, and things like reporting and giving certain amount of advice to all certain bodies around strata, domestic or insurance or retail or any of those aspects of real estate that come along that's in every business that we have. And then there's the training. So the well-rounded development skills that you obtain, you attend the pool school we have at PSC, Poolwerx Support Centre in Brisbane, and we cover off all aspects of the business that's required. We also have ongoing training, which involves retail training, technical training, commercial training if you wish to upskill yourself and get yourself and your teams into that higher end part of the commercial business. We have supplier training, or PIPs as we call them, Partners in Profit. And then we go through all the development seasons. So that's when the quieter months are. It allows our franchise partners and their teams to upskill themselves, either by coming into Brisbane, into our pool school, or we go out regionally to them to upskill groups at all certain times of the year. You'll also then become involved in what's called a Forming Good Habits, where we take the first 12 weeks of you coming into the business, where we work with you week by week by week to ensure that you are doing all the attributes of the business to ensure your success moving forward. And of course, we have what we call a peer support program. We do regularly meet with all of our franchise partners in each state, come together. There's a massive networking opportunity, and that's where they share a lot of information about their own businesses in an upload and a download approach from the business. So we certainly have a lot of peer-to-peer support and a lot of peer programs within the business that allows you to learn from other franchise partners and share with other franchise partners as well. And here's a few examples of some of the marketing campaigns that we run throughout the year. We have 28 strategic promotions in 2024. They've certainly enveloped into 2025, and of course, we're now planning for 2026 in our strategy programs. These campaigns directly impact the profitability of all of our franchise partners. They drive growth, they drive traffic into the businesses, and certainly allows the franchise partners to maximize opportunity and create more growth into their business. It's strategic, and we do it not only in the off season, what we call the off season, but also in the busier times of the year.
We all remember those endless summers in the pool, like the time you made that classic catch. Had a secret romance, turned into human prunes, and threw the pool party to end all pool parties. For 30 years, Poolwerx has been proudly helping Aussies create poolside memories. And with locally owned and operated teams in your area, we're committed to keeping your pool healthy and sparkling. So, here's to more endless summers with Poolwerx for healthy pool people.
Thanks very much, Steve. That was really great. So now comes the really interesting part of the night, I think, for all of the people that are listening tonight, and that is to actually hear from franchise partners. So we're fortunate enough tonight to have two franchise partners. We have Andrew Huth, who is a franchise partner in Queensland, and we have Ryan Quinn, who is a franchise partner in New South Wales. So we'll go to Ryan first. So Ryan owns 3 territories. He has Dural, Glenhaven and Box Hill in Sydney, and he has 2 loan territories, Glenorrey and Hassel Grove. So when we have territories that haven't been sold as yet, we do loan them to existing franchise partners, so they service any candidate or client inquiries that come through for those particular areas until such time as we sell that territory. Ryan's got 5 service vehicles on the road and 2 retail stores, and employs about 9 staff throughout the year. So Ryan, thanks very much for joining us. Really do appreciate you coming on board with this. Let me just firstly ask you, Ryan, I know you knew about franchising beforehand, so you can tell the participants a little bit about your background and why you decided to stay with franchising as a business.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, I was actually just calculating it. I think I've been in franchising for 25 years now. So I started when I was at uni. I was working in a Pizza Hut, and when I finished uni, did nothing with my degree, but went in and started working in Yum Restaurant's head office. And I spent time there learning about all the different departments. And then I was also an area manager for Pizza Hut, which turned into me actually owning a Pizza Hut at one point. So I was in franchising up until that point for maybe 13 or 14 years. Eventually sold my Pizza Hut, went across and worked at 7-Eleven for a little bit, and then got a job with Domino's, and I was a state manager for Domino's. So throughout my time with all of those franchises and working on multiple brands, I guess I really liked the fact that there was always systems in place and that anyone could come in and use those systems and be successful with it. And I also was lucky enough to watch multiple presentations throughout the time and see Poolwerx winning lots of awards, which triggered my interest in Poolwerx.
Okay. And is that why you decided to buy Poolwerx?
There was a few things in it for me. I love the seasonality of it. I'm happy to work my butt off for 9 months of the year, and I do like the off season. And realised that the off season wasn't as much of an off season as I thought. It was definitely less busy, but it's really good for training. And there's enough to keep us busy. And if you structure the business well, you can kind of float through that period a little bit and then get back into the season. And I also just wanted to work outside. I wanted work-life balance. So I wanted to be fit. I got sick of sitting at in meetings and doing emails and spreadsheets, and I wanted to be active.
Fair enough. Sounds good. So tell us a little bit about your journey with Poolwerx. When did you start? How did you start and get to the point that you are today?
Yeah, so I'm in my 9th year. So I started just a man in a van. So I bought 2 territories originally, which was Dural and Glenhaven. And when I inherited that, I think it was a loan territory for one of the neighbours, and I started with 11 clients. So that was just me in a van first season, and then just over the next couple of years, added a van each year, added a van each year. I wanted to go quickly and get a retail in the early days, but I kind of bumped into COVID, and the mobile business just went nuts through COVID. I wasn't going to open a retail shop during COVID. But the business was flying, and then as soon as COVID was out of the way, I jumped in and opened 2 shops in 8 months. So that's kind of my journey, and I've just put on an extra full-timer this year. So I'd say by the time we get to Christmas, I might be having 6 vans.
Okay, so 2 stores in 8 months is fairly unusual. Generally, most of our franchise partners will go 2 years. What was the driving motivation for opening those 2 stores in that short period of time?
I was really focused on the Box Hill shop, and we'd done all the work on that and was looking for places to open that, and that was going to be a brand new shop in that area. And then one of the independents in another territory ended up closing the doors, so in the Dural territory. So I jumped in there first, and then the spot that I wanted opened up in Box Hill, so it was too good to be true. So I opened it as fast as I possibly could. So it was kind of all the stars aligned.
Well, that sounds really good. And any regrets on that?
No regrets. The Box Hill one's a lot of work. The Dural one turned out to be really, really good. So that was sales straight away with no purchase price, which was fantastic. But the Box Hill one's really starting to fire this season. So yeah, no regrets. Everything's good.
Okay, so what role do you play in the business today? Obviously, what your role you play today is very different to when you first started, if you had 11 clients and just a mobile van. But can you give our participants a bit of an understanding of a typical day in the life of Ryan Quinn?
Yeah, well, mine might be a little bit different to other guys that have got 2 shops. I don't like spending a lot of time behind the counter, so I am out and about a lot. And I really believe in getting poolside first up. So every new client, I try to be at their house at some point on the first visit. And I find that me doing quotes and me going out and doing that kind of stuff leads to bigger sales really quickly. So I'm out doing quotes, doing installs, doing repairs, and doing a lot of troubleshooting. And I also spend a lot of time on the schedule. So I'm touching customers, telling them that we're coming out the next day and making sure that they know that I'm there for them. And so most of my time is scheduling, quoting, and doing installs.
Right. So that scheduling piece, just explain that a little bit for the people who probably don't understand the business.
Yeah, sure. So you've got myself plus another 4 guys doing pools. So they're generally getting through 8 to 10 pools a day. So I've got 40 pools that I'm juggling around, plus the stuff that I'm going to do the next day, trying to figure out the most efficient way to get out to those clients. So moving things around and making sure that we're as efficient as possible, and also contacting those clients, letting them know that we're going to be coming out. So you're always massaging which jobs are going to fit in, which jobs are going to be done on each day. And the systems that we have are really, really good. It's quite easy to move things around, and it's quite efficient the way that we can structure it. But there's always a little bit of massaging and changes most days.
Right. So if you were buying into a franchise today, and you've had a lot of experience with different types of franchises, what are the things that you would look for?
Definitely systems. Like that's an absolute must. If you're buying a franchise, you need to like the systems that are in place, and you need to be prepared to adhere to them. So have a look at what systems are in place and whether or not you're the type of person that'll follow it. I told you I owned a Pizza Hut. I also work with Domino's. It's a lot more fun to be number one. So pick the number one brand, which is Poolwerx. So like, you definitely want to be on the market leader. And also the support. So not only the support that you're going to get from head office, but what kind of support you're going to get from other franchise partners. And that's absolutely key for what we do. I've been in it, like I said, 9th year, and I'm still sending messages out to my franchise partners on WhatsApp saying, what's this mean? What can I do with that? Like, here's a problem. Can we fix it? So that kind of support from the network is imperative.
Okay, thanks very much. So you're also on our advisory council too. So what does that involve and how does that work?
Yep, so we have an advisory council. So each state will have a regional advisory council, which might be 4, 5, 6 franchise partners. And then they will be representatives for the state, and will have their buddies that they are feeding information up to. We meet regularly, and then each state will have one representative that will sit on the national with a Poolwerx Advisory Council, which is me for New South Wales. So I'm essentially listening to what my franchise partners want, and then we feed that back up. And in turn, Poolwerx are working really closely with us and including us in a lot of the decision making and the future of the brand. And then we can feed that back down to our franchise partners. So the communications are going both ways, and they're very open.
All right, that's really good. Thanks, Ryan. Did you take long to get into your mojo or into your rhythm when you first got into the business, or did it happen relatively quickly for you?
No, it was pretty quick for me, and I think that a lot of it has to do with what I wanted and also what I needed, but also the training. The training was fantastic. So you go to pool school, it's pretty intense when you're there. You're learning so much stuff. You think that you've learned it all, and then you get out on the road, and then you realise, hang on a second, I don't know it all, but the support's still there. So the weeks that you're out in your van on your own, and you're learning and you're trying to remember, yep, I get this, I get that. But it was the support around me from my franchise partners, but also from Poolwerx, that allows you to kind of hit the ground running, and you're off straight away.
Thanks very much, Ryan. Really appreciate you joining us tonight. We might now just move quickly to Andrew. Andrew, welcome to the webinar. So Andrew is a relatively new boy on the block, so to speak. He joined the brand in 2024, but he bought a very established business. So very different scenario to Ryan, whereas Ryan started from the ground and grew his business over those 9 years. Andrew has bought an established business in Brisbane. He owns the territories of Indooroopilly, Chapel Hill, Kenmore, Middle Park and Forest Lake, with 10 service vehicles and 5 retail stores, and he manages about 25 staff. So there's a lot of work to be done in terms of managing the staff. So Andrew, you're relatively new. Tell us a little bit about your background before you joined Poolwerx.
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, relatively new. So 24th of October actually is 12 months for me. Been a good learning curve, but my background is more in consulting, working in corporates rather than working for or having my own pool business. So sort of my background, I've got a postgrad in IT. I worked for those who might know Accenture, the likes of Accenture. I did a merger and acquisition between One Steel and Smorgons. I worked for National Australia Bank. So my sort of background is very much around large scale business transformation in large organisations, but a lot of transferable skills that I've learned over that time, that 30 years. So I'm in my early 50s, and that I've been able to bring across to my experience so far with Poolwerx.
So how did you decide to land A, with Poolwerx, or B, with the pool industry? Was that your intention when you first started looking for a business, or is that just how it ended up happening?
Oh, look, in terms of getting out of my corporate world and into something different, I always had an itch that I wanted to do something different rather than be stuck behind a computer and sitting in boardroom meetings and talking about risk matrices and talking about what we could do rather than actually getting it done. So there was always a little itch there. Why pools or Poolwerx? So I actually live in the area in terms of one of my territories that I'm running, and that the pool shop down the road. 14 years ago, I went down there to get my pool serviced, and I thought, oh, it wouldn't be bad actually running a pool shop one day. And little did I know that many of those staff who were there are now working for me now. And the pool industry, I guess, fascinated me in terms of like I was looking for a business that would work across both seasons, and certainly this business does. I think Ryan talked a little bit about having some downtime. I certainly haven't experienced that. And we've been able to, in my short period of time, being able to grow through that winter period. So there's always something to do. But it's, what attracted me was, that need that never goes away, that people always have to look after their pool. It's just one of those things they need to do. There's a body of water out in the backyard that needs to be sanitized and maintained, and you do get the odd customer who talks about trying to fill in their pool. There's not many people who do. I haven't had one yet, so.
Yeah, no, we haven't. We rarely experience. People do talk about it, but nobody actually ever does it. And you're right; it's a living, breathing body of water, so it always has to have chemicals. So the business model that Poolwerx operate within and the different revenue streams, can you talk a little bit about that and how that's been transitioned in your business?
Yeah, so our business, or I look at my business in terms of four main streams of revenue. So our retail, which has that seasonal concept to it. We're now getting busier and busier in our retail business as we approach Christmas, and it will just continue to get crazier. We then have our mobile side of the business. So that's what Ryan was talking about before, going out cleaning pools and attending to pools. I also have a sort of a third part because of that, my size and structure, where we focus on looking at people's equipment. So our equipment side of the business. So I have a full-time person who's out quoting. And to be honest, there is so much work that we can't keep up with it. So we have some tracking tools, and we just can't close all the deals that are out there on the table. So there's so much opportunity there. And then, which is a legacy, the fourth part of the business for me, which is legacy from a previous franchise owner, was pool renovations. So using subcontractors to come in and refurbish pools and surrounds of pools. And that's sort of the fourth part. But to be honest, there's enough business in the first three streams that I spoke about. And Ryan talked a little bit about sticking to the model, and those three parts of the business for me. There's a lot of opportunity to make that work a bit harder and to achieve some growth in that area.
Okay. So I guess just going back to the question I asked Ryan about getting into the rhythm or getting the mojo, you haven't got there yet, I would say, by the sounds of it.
Well, Andrew, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, which is a strength and a weakness. Yeah, look, and probably to the people on this call, different businesses that you're looking at, and certainly the one that I looked at had a franchise partner who was running it their way. And I'm running it a different way. So one of the key drivers for me is and you might ask me a question, Andrew, so I'm sorry if I merge the two, around my role. I'm still trying to figure out what my role is. So at the moment, I'd call myself the utility player. I'm sort of everywhere but nowhere. I could be on the golf course, but I'm not. I wish. I could be in a retail store. I could be doing a quote. I could be going out on the road. Like today, I was running around doing some jobs that some of the team couldn't do for various reasons. Green pools are really a profitable part of our business, and they're blossoming in the hundreds at the moment. I wouldn't say the hundreds, in the tens at the moment. So being able to get out there and get them started. For those people on the call who may be looking for, I call it a small, medium, and large business. I've got a large business. I think for me, I look at it that I'm an owner operator, and then I'm probably in an owner manager role at the moment. And then at some stage in the future, I'll move to being an owner. So I do have some people in management positions sitting over the top of my retail business. I have a senior person who's responsible for equipment sales, and then I also have someone is my service managers across my whole service side of the business with all my techs. And there's some pieces in there around driving quality and also looking at our average transaction values and seeing what we can do in the off season, like looking at incidental equipment that you don't get a chance to look at during the summer season. So we've been quite setting ourselves up like that has actually worked quite well. And so yeah, I'll eventually, Andrew, I'll get my rhythm.
You will. Yeah, it generally takes a couple of years at least to get into the rhythm and the swing of things. So tell us, what would you say are the three key strengths of being in your franchise?
Sounds like I'm going to steal Ryan's messages before, but system, and by system, it's not just IT systems, but it's processes. It's the support model that sits behind it. I've got a high work ethic, I guess, in terms of I make sure I give myself 100% to what I'm doing at any one time. But I do actually, I've got three kids, wife I've been with for 30 plus years. So I want those things which in my life, and I want to enjoy them as well. So for me, seeing those systems, that there are evidence of them through my journey and the due diligence process, and I can see and use them today, which what that means for me is that I don't have to spend all my time thinking about some of those nuances. They're there. I use them as part of my business. So that was number one. Number two for me, it can be lonely working in your own business, but there's a franchise partner support model that sits there in partnership with Poolwerx headquarters that works together. And so there is that camaraderie that comes. I never feel alone, even though sometimes you might be confronting, different challenges day to day, but you never feel alone, and there's always someone to to bounce something off. That'd be the main ones, Andrew. There's lots, but that'd be the main ones for me.
All right. Thanks very much, Andrew. Really appreciate you sharing some of that information tonight. And hopefully, if any of the people on the webinar do want to proceed to look further into Poolwerx, they will no doubt get to meet you one day at one of our experiential days, where you come along and have a chat to new candidates about the day in the life of a Poolwerx franchise partner. So thanks very much for joining us. Now we're just going to hear from Mike Geddes around the franchise selection process. So Mike is our franchise development manager. He's been 21 years with Poolwerx, so there's nothing about this brand that I don't think Mike knows. He spent 10 years as a master franchisee and a multi-unit owner himself, and then he has spent 11 years in the franchise development team at the Poolwerx Support Centre. He was winner of the Master Franchise Owner of the Year in 2005, and he's a Franchise Council of Australia certified franchise executive. So I'll hand it over to you, Mike, if you'd like just to give us a little bit of an understanding of the process within Poolwerx.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Thanks, everybody, for joining tonight as well. Really appreciate you coming along to learn a little bit more about Poolwerx. There's some familiar faces that I've been working with over the last few weeks, so it's always nice to see those. And thank you to Andrew and Ryan as well for giving us your time tonight in the lead up to the busy season and sharing, your knowledge of the Poolwerx business since you've been in here. So thank you. All right, so it's all about the success of our franchise partners. At the end of the day, you're joining a global brand in Poolwerx, and we'll provide all the marketing and the training and support around you. But the rest is up to you, jumping out of bed every morning, really, and just going out and following that system and doing it to that success. Thanks, Andrew. So, what are we looking for? At the end of the day, we're not looking for someone just to buy a job. Our model is much larger than that. It's scalable and it's got lots of growth, and we're the market leader, as Ryan said. We're looking for people that want to develop and scale a business. So, having that right attitude of, being successful in life, the work ethic that Andrew just talked about of following things through and being successful in everything you do each day, having that business acumen to be able to set the business up and continue to run the business correctly. And then, how do we improve it and come up with ways of doing that? And I guess in a franchise system, that's really great because that sharing and learning with one another can help you do that too. Obviously, it's important to have similar values to ours. You've obviously got that entrepreneurial spirit already because you're here and you're thinking about perhaps doing it one day. And most importantly, being very customer focused and looking after your clients, as we call them in our business. One of the great things about our system is the mapping. So there's nothing unknown about your territory that you end up buying. We know where every pool is by street number, street name, suburb, and postcode. We can show you where your competitors are. We can show you the pools that are currently serviced by you. We can also show you the casual clients that probably come into your retail store. And most importantly, we can show you the pools that you're perhaps not even doing anything with. And that's the opportunity to market to those pools. So lots of data about the demographics of the people living in the home with the pool and how much income they have and how many people live there. And so we can be very focused in helping you be successful using that mapping technology. So there's three options when you're looking at Poolwerx. We've got one starting up in a brand new franchise, what we call new to industry, where you jump in a van and you buy a turnkey startup with Poolwerx, 99,000, including GST plus your van, no more to pay, and we put you into a territory and we get you going and away you go. But like Ryan started originally, and then the second is a fast start. So this is an existing franchise territory that's been owned by a current franchise owner that may have multiple territories and is looking to sell off part of their territories that they may not have a retail in, for example. It's generally just probably been a mobile van or part of a mobile van, and they've decided to release it to focus on other parts of their business. So it's the same as a new one, but it comes with some existing revenues and some clients that you pay for from the existing franchise owner. So you're not starting from a zero base. And then the third one is obviously an established resale business. So that's buying a business that is currently trading and has financials and has profitability. And generally, you'll buy that on a multiplier of the bottom line profit. So we've talked about the first one, starting in a new van. Basically, it's an exclusive marketing territory. We spend $10,000 from your purchase price towards marketing to the clients in that area. This includes your training for 4 weeks, 1 week virtually, 3 weeks in-house at our training centre in Brisbane. All your flights and accommodation, all your tools and technology are included. We sign right the van and we fit the van out for you, put all the stock in there that you need to start trading from day one. It's a very comprehensive package, as we call it, turnkey, no more to pay, and you're up and away. The second one, as I said, is the territory release program or the fast start, and that depends. The costing is the 99,000 plus your van, and then obviously a portion of the territory price that you're buying from the existing franchise owner, and a percentage of the sales revenue for the last 12 months. They go to the selling franchise owner, but you're starting in a business that's already up and running and has clients and revenue coming in. And then, of course, that established franchise, which, we see from time to time. We've been around for 32 years now, so we do have, a number of opportunities coming up in our system as people look to retire and exit from the system. And that's a fully operational business. You're buying all the assets, all the vehicles, staff coming across, and you're buying it as a multiplier of the bottom line profit of that business. One of the unique things about Poolwerx is our sliding fee scale, which basically the more you grow, the less you pay. We reward you for that. We have a saying in Poolwerx that if you're doing well, we're doing well, and we share that back with you. And that's what we do with our franchise fee structure. So, you'll start in a mobile business if you're just mobile initially, and the fees range from 11% down to 9% based on the revenue. As soon as you open a retail store, if you come in at a retail level, they drop to 9 and 8%, again, based on that revenue. So, the quickest way to go from a mobile at 11% to a 9% franchise fee in your territory would be to open a retail store. And we know that that's the quickest way for you to grow in your territory and tap into that total market that's available. And then our standard fees of 3% for marketing to ensure that we remain the number one unaided recall brand in Australia. 2% technology fee that covers all your technology hosting, backup support, security license fees. And then we do ask you to spend 1% locally in your own area, being the local hero and driving business at a local level. So what's the steps of our recruitment process? Some of you here tonight have already been through a number of these steps with me. It generally starts with an introduction call. When you reach out to us, we have a chat and just get to know one another. And then we invite you to come to a face-to-face video meet with us, where we spend an hour and we get into a lot of detail like we've done tonight about the franchise system and what you can expect from the Poolwerx system. Because we always say, if you buy into the Poolwerx part, then the rest tends to flow. If you don't, then there's probably no point in going any further. So that's why we do that first of all. And then the third step is we ask you to provide us with some information about you, deeds of confidentiality, information requests and self-assessments and bits and pieces. And then we get to another meet, and we love your partner to attend with you on this, and you'll meet our senior leadership team, and they'll share with you their roles in the business and what their teams do to support you. And then we also get you to share with us a little bit about yourself and your background and where you're from and why you're looking to do this. And then generally that's an approval time for us both. We then ask you for a deposit that's fully refundable up until you sign the franchise agreement or the business sale agreement. At that point, we put you in the hands of it's a resale with a broker, and they'll provide you all the due diligence information, from information memorandums to financials and everything that you need to make sure you understand what you're buying and what the value of that business is worth. And then you'll put an offer in through the broker. If it's a new franchise, obviously we'll provide you some business planning and financial cash flow tools to help you identify what sort of sales revenue looks like, what the expenses look like, and what the profitability will look like. And you'll obviously work through that with your own professional lawyers and accountants as well. Then we get to a franchise agreement. Our franchise agreements are 5 years by 5 years and an option for another 5 years. We'll give you the agreement, you'll vet that and make sure you're happy with it. And then once that's signed, we bring you into our pool schools. We hold 5 of those a year, which is great. And then it's settlement, welcome aboard, and then our Forming Good Habits program kicks in. And I guess, you're getting to know us, and hopefully you want to get to know us even more. And this is the amazing team in our Poolwerx Support Centre that are there to support our franchise partners, and they love doing what they're doing, and they really have pride in helping our franchise partners on their journey. So thank you.
And that concludes tonight's presentation. So I hope you've really got something out of that. We have recorded the presentation, and that will be shared with all of the participants tonight. So you will get a recording of this webinar. You can go back and listen to parts of it again or review any information you might have received tonight. And by all means, if you have any questions, reach out to mike.geddes@poolwerx.com.au. And Mike will be able to help you with any inquiries, or you can just hop onto our website and put in an inquiry, and one of my team will get back to you. So that's all for tonight. Thank you very much for attending. We really do appreciate it. It's been great to have you, and I hope you've taken some information out of it, and we hope that you have a very good night. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.